call. Jennifer Skinner,
I'm here.
Wendy Newcomb,
Here?
Danelle Allen, here. Rich Bianculli, and Maggie Williams. Okay. So I'm just making some notes. All right, why don't we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I tripped over my tongue right there. Okay, are there any adjustments to the agenda?
I have two items.
Okay.
I need to notify you of a couple of resignations, and I don't know where you want to put that. You can put it on, I guess, EMI report or wherever you want.
We don't have to do any.
I'm just gonna
vote,
tell
we're
you,
just
yeah,
gonna
you
tell
don't
us.
have to vote on that.
Okay,
And then the other thing is, the committee tonight needs to approve the warrant and notice of election for the Sebago School Department budget validation referendum, and I'll go over that with you. But you need just to vote to approve that document, and then the selectmen sign off on it.
oh, that's already on here.
Okay,
Right, yeah,
I'm sorry.
okay, so just
I don't
one.
know if
Yeah.
okay, it's on there, you're right. Okay,
Okay, do we need to vote on that, the adjustment?
it's up to you. There's consensus,
sup-
yeah, I think there's
All right, I think-
consensus, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Okay, minutes. Does anybody have any adjustments to make to the minutes? If not, I'm looking for motion.
So
to-
moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? They are accepted, okay.
There's no consent agenda tonight.
Okay. Alrighty. Public comments? Superintendent's report.
Yeah, I have a couple of things. One, the first item is to review the fiscal year 26 warrant and budget. I don't know if you have any last minute questions, but I gave you a packet prior to the meeting. And it's the same packet that's gonna go to the voters tonight. And so there are 4 items in the packet. One is the warrant for the budget meeting for tonight. And then there's a budget summary sheet, looks like a pie chart in the middle of it. And then you have the budget itself. And then the last item, I think, is the warrant and notice of election for the Sebago School Department budget validation referendum. And so let me start with the warrant first. I don't know if you folks have any questions, but when you go through the warrant, the first article is to elect a moderator. You're gonna do that tonight. You're gonna seek nominations from the floor. And I think you would move to nominate, right now, we've got one candidate. You would move to nominate Attorney Greg Im to serve as your moderator, then it would get seconded. And then you would, the chair would say, are there any other nominations? Now, there may be, from the floor, I don't know. I don't think someone from the floor can do that, but I don't think anyone else is gonna have a nomination here. But you have to ask for another nomination, then you vote on him. And then he gets sworn in, and we have the oath of office, it's in a packet that I'll have for you, Danelle, to swear him in.
Okay,
And then he'll swear in the clerks, there are 3 clerks, and he'll swear them in. And then we're off to the races. And then for Articles 2 through 12, you basically have all of your 11 cost centers. And they're listed, it's taken right from the budget. I think Attorney Im will read these articles and let the voters know what they're voting on. So I'll stop there. Do you have any questions about the money articles? It's pretty straightforward, it's in your budget, we've discussed it, but just any last minute questions? I don't know if you have any. Yeah.
Will you be explaining them?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a presentation, I'm gonna do a PowerPoint presentation similar to what I did here before. And then, I've also invited, and I've asked Dell and John and our business administrator to be at this meeting. So
Sue?
Susan's coming, and so she's really knowledgeable about revenue, about essential services and programs. I always like to have the business administrator here. So I will do my best to answer. If I can't, I will refer, for example, specific special ed questions, I'll ask Dell to step in. Specific questions about curriculum, programming here at the school, I'll ask John to do that. I'm more the money guy, and Sue is as well, and she's really knowledgeable at the nitty-gritties of revenue and fund balance and those types of things. So I wanted to have the whole team there, and I was hoping they could sit at the table with us. And we'd have the committee members, myself, Sue will be next to me, and then John and Dell at the table. If that makes sense. You okay with that? So we're prepared to answer questions. We'll do our best, and I'm not gonna make things up. If I don't have an answer, I'll tell them I don't, and we'll get back to you, but I think we'll have enough answers for tonight. I looked at the minutes of last year's meeting, and they were pretty straightforward questions I think we can answer, so I'm not too worried about that. And then Articles 13 through 15, you're voting on the total budget, and then you have a debt service that you vote on. You have additional local funds that may come in for revenue. And then Article 16 is summarizes the proposed budget. And then you have these additional authorizations that folks vote on for grant money, for example, transferring money into unreserved fund balance up to 5% by state law. And then we also have the capital improvement reserve. Remember, we took 45,000 out to replace the oil tank, which we've done successfully. It's done. We're going to add 50,000 up to 50,000 with reserve funds if we have that money to replenish it, if that makes sense. So that's pretty much the warrant.
Can I point one thing out?
Yes.
Article 15, written ballot required.
Yeah. So this is the one where I think it's everyone votes. It goes to a ballot box, I believe.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And that's the additional funds above and beyond essential services and programs. That makes sense. So I don't know if you have any other questions, but this is what the voters are going to see, and they'll discuss tonight, and they can amend if need be, up or down, right?
No, they can't go up, can they? Or is that just town meeting? Am I thinking of
I don't know,
town
I'll
meeting?
ask Greg.
I think that's in our town report in the warrant.
In New Hampshire,
You
and again,
cannot go up, but you can go down.
in New Hampshire, you can go up, but you can't, you can go down, but you can't go down more than 10%, I believe. So anyway,
Okay.
that's the warrant, and then, the summary chart here basically just summarizes all your cost centers. And it talks about fund balance and some of the areas where we're up and down. And then, of course, we have the regular budget, and folks can ask questions about line items. We're prepared, like, if they ask a question about books, John's prepared to say, yeah, we budgeted 10.6 for books, and here's what we're doing, math and reading. We're bolstering our reading program. The biggest cost item in this budget is tuition to SU 61. That's no surprise, you know that. 73.75% of the budget increase is related to tuition in grades 9 through 12.
Wow.
9 through
Will
12.
you be sure to say something
I'm gonna
about
say that, yeah.
Yes.
It's $197,000 out of the 288 that we're raising and appropriating. It's 75% of it, roughly. And so I think, I won't. If the question comes up, are you exploring other options? I would say yes, we're gonna look at other options, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
That's-
Where is
that's
that where is the tuition expense in
It's
the
in my
pie?
PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, it's not in the pie or anything, that's just.
Right,
Oh, it's lumped in with regular
right, and that
instruction.
PowerPoint is, I'm gonna let the public know, it's on our webpage. I decided not to make copies of it, because there's so many pages, and I want people to listen to me, not look at the paper.
Right.
Just so you know, if somebody says, I want a copy, I can say it's on our website, and if they want to, they can, if folks want to, they can sign up and I can email it to them if they want. But I figured it'd be better for me just to speak and have them listen, if that makes sense.
Oh, I think so. And, did you say 73% of our budget?
73.75% of the budget increase
Oh, budget increase.
is related to grades 9 through 12 tuition at Lakes Region.
9 through 12, or wouldn't it be?
Well, the 6 through 8 went down.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, because the numbers went down. The kids are moving on into high school, so the numbers are up in the high school.
Right.
So the bulk of that is all related to high school tuition.
And how much per student?
It is $15,557, I believe. I'll double check it, it's in my
But
phone.
it's going up next year.
Well, we're projecting it's gonna go up to 17,000 next
For
year.
next year, for
Yeah.
2027.
Right,
Yeah.
and the state average is $14,081.
So, yeah.
So, you know, you
Are
look
we able
at,
to get out of that contract early?
well, that's
Be
something you're gonna wanna
exploring
talk about at some
possibilities.
point.
We're gonna be talking,
Yes.
I think that's a.
So, I mean,
Our
if you,
June meeting,
if you take 100 kids and you've got, you know, a delta of 3,000, that's $300,000. That's money, you know,
Yeah, really.
so.
Yep.
So anyway, so that's the budget, and then when I go to the,
are you doing that?
yeah, I'm gonna talk about that next. The budget validation referendum, there's 2 questions. One is, well, it's actually 3, to elect a moderator to preside at the meeting, which would be the voting day. I think they have a moderator that checks the polls. But, the Article 1 says, do you favor approving the Sebago School Department budget for the upcoming school year? So they just vote on that one question, not on the various cost centers, because tonight's the night for that. And then, the second question is, do you wish to continue the budget validation referendum process in Sebago School Department for additional 3 years? That has to be asked every 3 years.
So let's say they vote, no, they don't want to, what happens? Does it then come down to our annual budget meeting?
It would be, it
How does
would,
that work?
yeah, so the way that it would work is you wouldn't have this meeting, you'd have to have a public hearing on your budget and vote on the cost centers. And then it would just go to, a vote.
Like-
I like the process you have in Sebago.
Yes.
I like it a lot.
I think it works.
I think the
Yeah,
voters
it
would,
does.
I think, and I'm gonna ask Greg to explain this to the voters. There's a copy of this in the packet tonight, and I'm gonna ask Greg just to explain it, because they're gonna see this on the ballot. They haven't seen this before,
Mhm.
and, in 6 years, they haven't seen it. You're supposed to vote on this every 3 years. And so, he'll explain that. I'll ask him to explain that, it's just, for information to the voters.
So many details.
So, so that's, any questions about that? There's 2 central questions. Essentially, you're asking, will you approve the budget, number 1? And I don't think it's ever, the budget is, I don't think it's never been defeated here, right? It's,
Well, in 7 years, no.
no. Well,
Knock on wood.
and then you have the budget validation referendum question.
Fake wood.
Sawdust.
Okay. So, that's that, and then, so I went over the warrant and the, any questions about the budget itself? Do you have any last minute questions? You know, I'm gonna go over the major areas of increase, the major areas of decrease, with the folks, and share, you know,
Has
That-
anybody ever asked, I don't think they asked last year, but has anybody ever asked how much it would be if we had stayed with Lake Region?
Yeah.
Like what the budget would be had we stayed versus.
We had Steve get that info last year, and he was able to project out, and we were still paying less here than if we were still
Still
with
with Lake Region.
Lake
Right.
Region,
I just
yeah.
wasn't sure.
It wasn't significant, as I remember,
well,
but it was still, it is either a little less or the same, I remember that.
right
But-
now, you're a tad higher, because back in October of '24, your number was 108. Right now, the numbers are up, so I would anticipate that going down next year, because your numbers are up over last year. But I think he contrasted the, I don't have it with me right now, but he contrasted the tuition rate for Sebago versus tuition rate for elementary at Lakes. And I think that's what he did last year. He looked at the overall tuition costs, and yours is a tad higher than 61. But it's because it's a function of numbers. You know, when you look at their elementary, their numbers are over 1,000.
They get
And
more from the
yours-
state.
Three, and
Right.
they
Right.
also have more bonds
Right,
that they're responsible for,
Right.
which is one of the main reasons we got
right.
out.
And I'm not sure that's calculated into the overall
And that
cost.
should be calculated
Right.
in, because that was the main reason why the town voted to
Right.
get out.
Well, we
And
have
not
108 now in our school.
Well, we have right now
114.
114.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're up. So that number should go down next year, but we'll see.
Right, because proportionately,
Yeah.
the money from the state is
Right.
more for,
Well, and it's hard too to compare that as well, because, you know, what's the distance we travel in our buses versus the distance they travel over there? There's some, you know, some things that, it's not always comparing apples to apples.
no, it's true.
You know, there's different, like you said, there's different debt, there's transportation. And typically, the lower the population, you'll see if you go through the list, there's a tuition rate list for the state of Maine.
Mhm.
The smaller districts tend to pay a higher tuition because they have smaller number of students, and it's economy of scales, right?
Exactly.
Your class sizes are lower here. I mean, you know, it might be higher elsewhere, and that's a benefit. Some people see that as a benefit, having lower class sizes. You don't want to be too low, but you're not too low here, you're just right.
Yeah.
Some places it's higher. You know, so it depends on various unique circumstances as well. It's not just comparing apples to apples.
Right, right.
I hope I answered that.
No, yeah, you did. I just wasn't
Um,
sure if somebody was gonna ask
And
that.
then,
They might too.
That's all.
well, so what's the option? I mean, if people don't like that answer, you pay a tad more, you have the control of the school. There's no guarantee that tuition is gonna stay at that rate.
Exactly.
Right, but also, it's not significant, like, we don't pay, as a town, we're not paying, we don't pay that much more than we would if we were part of Lake Region. And so I think that might be a question that might come up tonight.
Right.
Because there's always some rumblings, like, should we really be doing this? Shouldn't we be just with Lake Region? Then it would be so much cheaper.
Well, it's not, if you look at their tuition rate,
No, it's not.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why,
it's not, I think coming out of the gate, I'm gonna mention the tuition rate's high. People are gonna see that.
Well, and remember,
Yeah.
before we withdrew, when we were going through the process, when we were a part of SAD 61, we paid a significant amount of money to the district because of all the lakefront property
oh, I
and
know.
everything.
Well, the other thing is they charge you not just tuition, they charge you for debt service as
Oh, I
well.
know,
Right.
for all the
So-
things, yeah.
It's compounded. You're paying the average, well, no, they charge you higher than the state average right now.
Yes, they do.
So the tuition is higher than the state average, but then they'll tack on, if you have debt service, they're gonna charge you, I think it's around 14.8, that's what you charged before, 14.8% on the debt that they have in that district. So they calculate it, so 14% of the kids from Sebago go there, you're gonna pay 14% of the debt, and you don't own the buildings. I mean,
I know this, like a,
Yeah.
event.
so.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too, I'm not afraid to say this, once you close your elementary school, you're closing down your community.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Because it's kind of the hub of the community, the little kids going to school here.
Yeah.
Right,
that's why we did what we did.
that's right.
All right, so you've got the warrant article and budget, logistics of the meeting, I think we went through that, we talked about swearing in.
Yep.
We're good there, I'm gonna ask, Greg to, recognize me and I'll do the presentation, and then I'll sit down, he can go through the warrant articles. The other thing that I have on my report is the set meeting with the district attorney regarding tuition. And, I think we need to take a look at our current contract with the attorney, and then, have a discussion about what do we do? You're in year 7,
June 10th, our next meeting,
Yeah,
if we meet at 6 o'clock, is that early
he can
enough?
zoom in. I'm gonna have him zoom in, not travel all the way over here. I'd rather have him just,
June 10th.
and we'll meet in my office and we'll meet with him for 45 minutes or so. Come prepared with some questions. I've asked him to take a look at the contract and to say, what options do we have, you know, looking forward? What are our options?
Right.
So bring your questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are our options in the next 3 years? What are our options in the next, 4 years? That type of thing. So I suggested June 10th. He's available on June 10th, and he's
Right.
available at 6 o'clock.
Great.
And so I can get him, I can do a Google
When's the
Meet.
next meeting? June
Yeah, it's
17th?
June.
No, it's June 10th.
I'll have to work on that.
We were, well, so.
I think you were,
We changed May and June.
because of this meeting. and-
because-
Yeah,
There was, you couldn't be here on the 17th, I think.
Right, right.
Okay,
okay.
so that's why, and we have to have somebody. So
So that's next
we
week,
decided
yeah.
June 10th, and I know it's not our normal meeting night.
Okay.
And then we're on hiatus for July and
Right.
most of August.
Okay, now I need to give you an update on building work. The oil tank, we're done. They took it out, no problems. No leakage, we got rid of it. It was down quite a ways. I think they had to dig down about 10 feet. It was on a cement pad. I think that had to get moved, right, John?
Yeah, and the tank was 500 gallons more
Yeah.
than we thought, so it was a 2,500 gallon tank.
Big tank.
They removed it with no incident, they backfilled it. Then the following Monday, they put the new 500 gallon tank in, put the fence around it, hooked it up. It's half full with 250 gallons of oil in it, so we're ready to go if, we need the boiler.
That's great. Fantastic. Good work.
Yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah.
So that's done.
Mhm.
Most of the work that we had on the docket is complete.
Great.
HVAC,
Heat pumps?
the heat pumps are working. We did deliver some oil, I think, just to have a little bit of oil in the system. We're gonna do some work on the boilers that need to be updated to some
Yeah.
degree. Is that scheduled?
That is, and I'll have to ask Dave when that's scheduled for, but, they need to replace gaskets. And again, I also asked Nason's for a item by item, of all our invoices throughout this year, so we know that we're putting our money where it belongs, and so I should be getting that soon as well.
So tonight, I think it's fair to say if somebody asks, is it cheaper? I think it's cheaper to have our kids come here, even though our cost per pupil may be a tad higher, you're still gonna pay debt service.
Right.
So I think I would say, in good faith, I think we could say it's a better deal to have our kids here.
Yeah, and I think that was what Steve came up with. He took everything into consideration.
Yeah.
So I think that's what you have to, yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, what else do I have? I think budget warrant, logistics, set up meeting, attorney, so we're all set for the attorney?
Yeah.
Okay, and any other building work, John, that you can think of that needs to be updated?
No, we hired a new custodian, he's doing a fantastic job, he's repairing things that need to be repaired as we go along,
That's fantastic.
so.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Dave's mom passed away,
Oh,
and, he's been out, and, his son-in-law, I think is his
Stepson.
Stepson.
mhm.
He is, doing almost double duty here to
Yeah,
help out.
he's coming in at noon and
Yeah,
leaving at
he's been
7.
great,
Wow.
so our
Great.
condolences to, Dave, and, I know it's tough, he lost his mom, so,
Mhm.
so. That's all I have. John, do you have anything for the
Yeah.
good of the order?
Yep, so,
Wait a minute, what about the resignation?
Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta do resignation, I need to inform you, you're right, thank you. We have, 2 resignations, I think I told you about one of them, Julie Love Sherman, our music teacher, has resigned. She, loves the kids here, but I think she wants to get back working with older students. And then we just found out yesterday, was it, no, it was, yeah, it was-
I found out Friday and she gave you the
she gave me the notice yesterday. Morgan Burkholder, our fourth grade teacher, is leaving us, not because she doesn't like it here. She's leaving because her husband, bought a business at Peaks Island. And it's a bicycle repair shop and sales shop, I believe, and she's gonna stay there with him, so,
And there's a fourth grade position currently open that she's applying for, so it's all, all the pieces are falling together for her.
right. So we're going to advertise, these positions as anticipated. And while I'm at it, I think I told you, but I'm just gonna, Dell is not gonna return as our occupational therapist. He is returning as our, special education administrator, thank goodness, I'm glad he's coming back for that. But Dell's at a point in his life where I'm at, where he wants to work part-time and he's earned it and he's coming back, but we'll get on the horn and get some folks in here we'll advertise anticipated opening for that as well. Those are the three that I think, I just wanna go make sure I've got everyone covered.
That is the three.
And I don't anticipate anything else, but you never know. I think that's it. So you're all set?
No, I've got,
Oh, come on.
and I will say, Wendy,
Thank you.
as part of that, the benefit of having our own elementary school is I think the kids, get a great elementary experience here around a lot of people that love, our community and kids. So I'll start out with the happenings, this month, on Thursday, tomorrow, from 5 to 7, we have the Sebago Elementary, Science Fair. We have 20 kids ready to show their stuff. We are giving medals by grade level to the winner and the runner-up. And then, it should be a good show. And I know Tristan Thompson, our third grade teacher, is helping me out with it, so that's good. And we have Spice coming in to support as well. Mad Science is showing up. This was funded by Spice. Like we do with a lot of our things, we grant fund, and we're resourceful, so, and Spice is, bringing Mad Science in on the 12th of May and on the 23rd. We also have on May 21st, we have our art festival. I have contacted a few local artists that said they'll be there. I'm digging into a few more, so we can have some of our local artists there as well. And then on May 30th, we have the Spring Fling. That's supported by PTO, Spice, Cameron, our rep directors, helping out with that as well, so that should be pretty good. Liz Cannell's organizing all that, and, of course, I'll be in the dunk tank as usual.
That was the 30th, you said?
Also, so under curriculum, we are, as you know, we have our primary grade teachers piloting, new reading programs. And so I got a hold of both companies. They're gonna give us what we need to pilot it, for free. Because, they didn't wanna do it for free, but after some conversations they decided to, which is great, but I'm going to cut out some time for those three teachers to visit a school that is already piloting CKLA, which is Core Knowledge, Language Arts, and Interreading, so they're gonna be able to go and see it in action before they start. Today, and I shared with you last time that we sent several staff members to an MTSS conference, multi-tiered support, and they gave so we used that internal capacity to provide staff with professional development with that during our PLC today. I also discussed and kind of walked teachers through our crisis response for what we would call dangerous people coming into school if that happened. We kind of went over that today. Rally points where our reunification would be, how the buses would work, so we kind of went through that. We did purchase a book for teachers to share with kids that was funded by Alice, which is probably one of the top research-based crisis response organizations on how to deal with that type of stuff. And it's a real kid-friendly book, so they can share the book with kids, and then they can kind of have conversations with students about what do we do in case someone gets in our building that shouldn't be there. This summer, we have two programs that should be running this summer. We have our ESY for students with IEPs. That will be starting July 9th, Del?
I think it's the 8th.
Huh?
I think it's the 8th.
I think it's, okay. Well, it's right after the 4th of July, and that will run for 4 weeks, and then there'll be just a tad bit of overlap And then we have our summer retreat, literacy and math retreat like we did last year. That will run from the 30th of July to the 21st of August, which I kind of like being able to have those two programs separated. It helps with transportation. And then MWA testing in Maine through year has already started. It ends May 3rd. Science assessment starts the window opens up next week for 5th grade to take the science assessment. And then we have our end of year 5th grade step up at SES on the 23rd of May. Parent information night at the middle school will be the 29th. I've connected some parents that wanted to link up with Gorham and other schools with their principals so they could have visits to check out those schools before they submitted a superintendent's agreement if they decided to go there. And then we have our senior march on the 27th from 11 to 12. So students from, Lake Region, students from
Other high schools.
other high schools will be there. They'll come in and walk through the hallways and the kids will be cheering them on. And that,
That's always fun to
Yes, ma'am.
watch.
I have a question, we heard about the telling room, is that on the 15th?
yes, the telling room, I think Belle Sawyer put that out. That's gonna be in the evening for 5th grade parents to come and see the students work.
Right,
That's not, I don't think that's open for everyone, but I think you've been invited.
yes,
Because Spice supported the telling room, which is an expensive endeavor, but it was well worth it. And the parents will come and see what the kids have done. So,
great,
there
thank
we
you.
are.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, we're up to action items. Okay, we need
I have a sample motion in there for you, the hiring staff over the summer.
I move to authorize the superintendent to hire staff between June 13th of 2025 through August 26th of 2025.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? Saying none, all in favor? It passes. Okay, and then we need to approve the budget validation referendum warrant.
Yes, it's called the, I'll make sure,
That's not.
it's
that.
called the warrant and notice of election for the Sebago School Department Budget Validation Referendum. So you
Okay.
can make the motion right off the top of that.
Okay, do you wanna do that?
I move,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
just say so.
you
Yeah.
can.
So,
I move to approve the 2025 budget validation referendum warrant for the Sebago School District. School District Department, excuse me. For public posting prior to a public voting.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Saying none, all in favor? That passes.
Thank you. Now that's out of the way.
Alright, so I'll put that.
Take that back, and now I can get this off to the selectmen, and they
And-
can sign it.
Items for future agendas, we will keep mentoring on there. Is there anything else? Okay,
Outdoor education,
let's add that, outdoor education.
that, and there was to be we have money for a structure.
That is also
That's something we're gonna discuss at the next, facilities meeting, I think.
operations.
I'm sorry, operation, yeah.
So if you're interested, you can tag along with Grove.
Yeah.
I think that's on June 10th, isn't it? That's right, one day, oh, you do that too, don't you?
Yeah.
Actually, on the back.
On the back,
Let's,
isn't it?
let's cover this. Information items, future meetings. Tonight at 7, we have our annual school budget meeting in the cafeteria. May 20th is operations at 3
Three.
o'clock. June 10th is the budget validation referendum as well as town elections. Polls are open from 8 to 8. June 10th, oh, so you've got 5:30 on here, is that right?
That's
Should
the
it be
workshop.
5:30 or 6?
Um,
Or are we workshopping for a half hour first?
that's what I thought we would do.
What, an
Oh,
hour
okay.
and a half?
so we're workshopping for a half an hour
And then
before
meeting at
we
2.
have Dan zoom in.
Okay, so the meeting starts at 6.
No, meeting starts at 5:30. You can move it to 6 if you
No, I
want.
meant the school committee meeting.
Oh, that's at 7.
That's at 7,
Yeah.
so we'll be here for an hour and a half before the school committee meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. Usually it's not usually that long, so. that's why
Right,
I asked.
right. But we have to make sure we're covering ourselves legally with.
Well, I just wanna make sure that,
Absolutely.
I wanna make sure if there's any
5:30.
other business, we deal with that in the first half hour and then deal with the attorney the 45 minutes and then you go into your meeting.
Okay,
That's what I was
that's fine.
hoping, but.
So I just wanna make sure.
Okay,
we do it at the time.
So, budget-related meetings, Wednesday, May 7th, tonight, that's right now, at
Mhm.
7 PM, and Tuesday, June 10th. Budget validation referendum, and is there anything else?
That's everything I have.
Okay,
Looking
I
at
would
my notes and,
entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Wow. So.
you know, this went faster than I thought it was gonna
Alright.
go.
I heard so moved and second all at the same
Yeah,
time.
So moved.
Second.
Alright, any discussion? All in favor? We are adjourned.
Wow.
I like that.
I have to